direction, everything is different. New world and it's making you crazy. Growing sound and it's coming from your head.
So this is kind of odd. See the two sticks here. Not odd really by itself, but look at this rock. It's like this rock has been beat on or something. See all these white marks? That's broken there. There's actual pieces of rock on top of the leaves, which it should not be. Here's some more pieces. There's another one. There's another one. Huh. Look at that. Interesting. Just came from this direction. This is interesting. So I'm gonna set the camera up and try a little something just for fun. Alright, so I think I'm gonna hang out here and try a few things.
Holding on, then you cannot just be this. What is wrong isn't making you feel right. Holding on, then you cannot just be the one coming down and it's making you want stop. I can make it real this time, so you never walk away, and the blind will lead the blind, and we'll see everything. lost a lot of things, but that was nothing in return. Take it back, don't you wish that you could have? Wide awake and you hear the order, like a rat going through a man-made maze. For the good of all your suffer, holding on that you cannot just be this. All is fine and it's making you stand tall. Holding on that you cannot just be the cause of everything that makes us all fall. I can't make it real.
So I just sat here, ran a couple audio tests, and as you can see, the X that was on there, had some noises down to my left. So I left this, and I put the rock basically back where it was, but the interesting thing is that something has been beating on this rock with that rock. You can see there's pieces scattered. When I beat the rock on the flat rock, some pieces chipped off. There are pieces already down here laying. There's a big chunk there. There's a chunk up there, and you see lots of small pieces. So something or someone had been beating on this rock with that rock. Like, absolutely, no doubt about it. There was a little X there. And that's what I'm going to leave, and I'll check this at a later point and see if it has changed, or see if we get any response out of it. Oh, bullfrog. So I'm coming down through here. There's this area right here. It's been compressed really good. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Something has compressed a pretty good size area there. Interesting. Had a bunch of movement up there. There's the remains of an armadillo. So I am further down than I intended to go. Following a game trail now, and I've kept going because I keep getting these strange sounds and anomalies. It's a cool little spot right here. So it's getting really steep. I've ran a few of the tests that I wanted to run. But it's like these sounds keep enticing me to go further and further. Just about when I think I'm not getting anything else, I start getting more. So, sometimes when you're doing this by yourself, you wonder if you're being pulled into areas, or if they're just toying with you. Like, hey, I can make him turn right. Hey, I can make him turn left. Look how easy this is. I think that I'm going to be done for the day. I've got a lot of audio to go over and wasn't so much focus on video this time. And here we go, I'm getting, sounds like footfalls up the hill, up and over this little ravine top here. And there's a knock. It's almost like we get drawn into areas at times. I'm going to end it with that. I got a good little hike to get out of here, so I'm just going to get on it and move it, move it, move it. So I want to give a shout out to Chris Reinhardt. He just had surgery. So Berkshire Bigfoot, Mr. Chris, Baldy Locks himself. I'm coming up out of this draw and wishing you a speedy recovery. I know it sucks not being able to get out into the woods. It's like therapy for some of us, and you're one of those guys. So get well soon, man. Don't stress on getting those videos out and whatnot. People understand that you're down for the count for the minute, for the moment. I'm sorry. Starting to sprinkle out here. Feels good. No wind. Upper 40s. A slight drizzle. And craziness in the 400. Doesn't get better than this. But I've been so here's a little arch, but what I just spotted there is what is interesting. You have a chunk of rotted wood here. There's a big old flat area right here. Alright, so I've stepped back for a moment. You see there's an arch here. That is the base of it. I already checked it out. The odd thing about this is I was walking by here. I glanced up here and I noticed this flat area right here. And right next to that flat area is this rotted wood. And as you know, we think there's a possibility that they eat this stuff for sodium. Maybe some other mineral contents too. There's typically bugs and worms and whatnot inside this. That's odd. Let me set this down. You can see it's kind of been pulled apart here. I looked around up here and there is no place that I can find where this would have rolled down into this position. And as I'm looking at it, it looks like right here there's like kind of lines going the opposite direction of the grain of the wood. I don't know if the camera can see that or not. And it's a little smoother I don't know, maybe that's from a finger tearing into that, possibly, or maybe teeth, I don't know. But you see how easy this stuff comes apart. It'll just crumple in your hand. Are they eating this stuff? Or is there something sitting right here underneath this arch eating this? I don't know. That just sounds crazy, doesn't it? As from earlier, everything's still exactly how I left it, which is good. I'd like to see it different when I come back. When I come back out next time. Sorry for the heavy breathing. Boy, the vibe is strong today. I'm gonna stop here for a moment. In our last video, Hidden Ponds Part 2, towards the end of the video, I'm actually right up here. And I came through and I walked this direction towards the end of that video. So what we were doing was coming down and getting an overlook of this area, knowing that I was going to be coming down through here within a week or two. This was all cut and they left all these tops, which creates great cover. You can see it's a nice little spot up there that somebody could completely enclose and it would be easy to finish off. And this up here is really, really thick. Like you could have something laying 8-10 foot from you, and if you didn't walk up on it, you just happen to walk around it, you'd never see it. And that's what's cool about the 400 out here is there's all this different terrain. There's nice smooth valleys. There's a flat plain that runs into a lake. There's a creek that runs through it. And you get these different areas with different types of timber. This side of the property is really rocky, real steep, real rugged terrain. And you go back to the southwest end of the property and it's the ground is way less rocky. Better opportunity for tracks and whatnot. And you get to the other side of the creek and it completely changes. The timber changes, the thickness changes. You can go over a hill and drop down into another lowland area, and you run into a lot of cedar, and so that's just kind of the cool thing about this area out here is, depending on where you go in this small patch of 400 acres, you're going to get, you know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 areas that are all completely different from each other. It's like a bunch of different micro forests all conglomerated into one area. So it keeps it interesting. You know, this area out here is one of the hardest to hike if you're going up and down. That wasn't too bad today because I just followed this draw down for quite a few miles. I believe I was maybe a mile from Ants Creek when I decided to turn around. So, you know, this area is really cool. It never seems to fail that every time we come out here we get sound anomalies. The last several videos I've been pointing them out and I was missing them. I urge the rest of you researchers out there to put up the headphones. and quit trying to isolate the sound in headphones, because the headphones aren't producing the frequencies that I believe we need to be listening for. At this point, I've completely put my headphones up. I've hooked up my computer to an old Sony, pretty powerful Sony receiver, and a couple studio speakers that I've had for several years. I set them on each side of the computer, pointed them directly at me, turned it up, cut a little bit of the gain, and I started hearing all these oddities in the sound clips that I was completely missing. So I urge all you researchers, put up the headphones, hook up a stereo, put your create a little sound booth for yourself, because there's things we are missing. There's things we are missing. You may recognize this from earlier this morning. So that's the direction I came from this morning. I kept going straight down this way. Now on the way out, I'm gonna turn up into this draw. I'm gonna follow this one out. This is the draw where the deer kill is. The deer kill actually should be about 40, 50 yards right up here. So this is where we're getting a lot of these strange sound anomalies, which I have already heard today. For some reason, at times, I hear and pick up these things, and the other guys don't. We don't know positively why that is, if they're just deaf. I don't think that's the case, because I've been a musician most of my life. The songs that you hear on these videos are actually me. And the last band I was involved with, a band called MK Ultra. Hope you guys enjoy clips of those soundtracks. I'm pretty proud of them. But with that being said, I've played live music on stage for years, and I'm sure that has not been good for my hearing. And I haven't had my hearing tested, but I will say that my father, bless his soul, he passed 14 years ago, and he was infrasound sensitive. He would go into parts of California and New Mexico and get this low humming noise in his head. It drove him crazy. He hated it, and eventually he went to the doctor about it, and they finally figured out that he was one of that 2% of the population that is infrasound sensitive. So what we are looking into is, am I? And if I am, is that what I'm picking up on out here? So, finally made my way out of the thicker woods and working my way back up the hill to where my vehicle is. Man, if you guys like what you're seeing, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Anybody that's got any good ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. We're always looking for out-of-the-box thinkers to help along the way. And you know, if somebody comes up with any good ideas and we're able to test them, once we get the results, you know, we'll throw credit out there to you. And hope you guys Have a good one. Be safe. Ozark Mountain says.
So you